Hello guys, welcome to Infinite Stories. Please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. Let's get into the story. Judith's world shattered when Frank, her fiancé, left her for favor. Heartbroken but determined, she turned her pain into motivation, starting a small cafe. Over the years, it grew into a successful franchise. Despite marrying Divine, a loving man who supported her dreams, the sting of Frank's betrayal remained, but she channeled it into her thriving business. Judith's cafe empire flourished as she expanded her business. With Divine by her side, she built a family and found happiness in her achievements. She no longer thought about Frank, but the memory of his cruel actions still lingered. She had transformed from the broken woman he had discarded into a successful businesswoman, proud of how far she had come. One day, Frank and Favor visited one of Judith's cafes, unaware she was the owner. When Judith, now a successful businesswoman, served them, they mocked her, thinking she worked as a waitress. Frank scoffed at the idea of calling her his ex, while Favor belittled her for working at a cafe. Judith remained calm, not revealing her identity. As Frank and Favor continued to mock her, Judith felt the sting of their words. Frank laughed at the thought of her being his ex, and Favor mocked her humble job. However, Judith remained composed, letting them make fools of themselves. She had built her success from scratch, and their mockery only reinforced her strength and resilience. Finally, Judith revealed that she owned the entire cafe franchise. Frank's smug expression quickly turned to shock, and Favor fell silent. Neither had expected this. Judith's calm demeanor contrasted with their discomfort as Frank and Favor processed the truth. Judith had moved on from their toxic relationship, and their mockery now seemed irrelevant. After the revelation, Frank's pride crumbled. He tried to apologize to Judith, asking for forgiveness, but it was too late. Judith had moved on, and she no longer cared for his remorse. She was happy with Divine and her success. Frank realized he had underestimated her, and his attempts to make amends only highlighted how much he had lost. Frank could not stop thinking about the humiliation he faced. He had once belittled Judith, but now she had outgrown him in every way. Favor, too, felt uncomfortable, realizing she had once mocked a woman who had more strength and success than she ever would. Frank's pride took a major hit, and the regret ate at him. He had lost Judith for good. Judith continued to build her empire, unfazed by the encounter with Frank and Favor. She focused on her business and her family, with Divine's unwavering support. Her past with Frank was long gone, and she had no room for regret. She realized that the life she had now was far more fulfilling than anything she had once dreamed of with Frank. Frank tried to move on, but the memory of Judith's success haunted him. He realized too late that he had made a mistake, choosing Favor over the woman who had supported him unconditionally. He couldn't stop comparing Favor to Judith, and he realized that Judith was irreplaceable. Regret filled him, but he knew it was futile now. She was gone, and he had lost her forever. Judith's life continued to prosper, and her love for Divine deepened. He was everything Frank never was: supportive, loving, and understanding. Together, they built a life full of happiness and success. Frank's regret didn't affect her. She had moved on completely. Judith had found true love and fulfillment, and nothing from her past could take that away. As Judith's cafe empire continued to grow, new challenges emerged. Competition in the market intensified, and she faced pressure to maintain her brand's reputation. However, Judith's experience and resilience guided her through these obstacles. With Divine's support, she worked tirelessly to innovate and stay ahead of the curve. Together, they faced every challenge, strengthening their bond and their business. One day, Frank showed up at one of Judith's cafes, uninvited. His appearance stirred uncomfortable memories, but Judith remained calm. Frank tried to speak with her, but she dismissed him politely, focused on her work. He apologized once more, but Judith's response was clear: she had no time for him anymore. He was just a chapter in her past, and she had no intention of reopening it. Favor, still with Frank, began to feel the weight of her choices. She saw how much Frank regretted losing Judith and how much he compared her to Judith's success. Favor realized that she could never live up to the strength and integrity Judith had. Her own jealousy and insecurities started to take a toll on her relationship with Frank. Deep down, she knew they would never have what Judith and Divine had. Judith's confidence grew as she realized that the judgment and mockery from Frank and Favor had no power over her. She had built a life on her own terms, and the support of Divine made everything possible. As they celebrated the opening of a new cafe location, Judith reflected on her journey. Her success wasn't just about the money. It was about proving to herself that she was enough without anyone else's approval. Divine, ever supportive, had a surprise for Judith. He had been secretly working on a project that would elevate her cafe chain to even greater heights. Judith was overwhelmed with gratitude and pride. Divine's gesture reinforced the strength of their partnership and their shared vision for the future. Together, they celebrated this milestone, knowing that their love and hard work had created something beautiful. Frank, consumed by regret, made yet another attempt to win Judith back. He tried to appeal to her emotions, telling her how much he had changed and how he had learned from his mistakes. However, Judith stood firm in her decision. She thanked him for the lessons learned but made it clear that their past was closed. Her life with Divine was everything she had ever wanted, and Frank's words no longer held any power over her. Favor's relationship with Frank grew strained as she struggled with her own feelings of inadequacy. She began to seek personal growth, realizing that she needed to stop comparing herself to Judith. In time, Favor found her own path and focused on her personal development. While her relationship with Frank began to fade, she started to rebuild her confidence and learn the value of self-worth. Judith's cafe franchise continued to expand rapidly, with new locations opening across the region. She had become a well-respected businesswoman, admired by many for her resilience and success. Divine's unwavering support allowed Judith to stay grounded while reaching new heights. As they grew their family and business together, Judith realized that true success wasn't just about profits, it was about the love and happiness they had built as a team. One quiet evening, as Judith reflected on her journey, she thought about her past with Frank. It was no longer painful but rather a reminder of how far she had come. The man who once mocked her had become a distant memory. She had found happiness, success, and love in Divine, and that was all she ever needed. The past no longer defined her. It was her present and future that mattered most. Judith and Divine celebrated a major milestone. Her cafe empire had reached new levels of success, and they threw a grand celebration. Surrounded by family, friends, and colleagues, Judith couldn't help but feel immense gratitude. She had achieved everything she set out to do, and more. As she looked around at the people who had supported her, she knew her success was not just about her business, it was about the love, resilience, and growth that had gotten her to this point. Judith, reflecting on her past, realized the importance of forgiveness. She forgave Frank for his mistakes, not for him, but for her own peace of mind. While she had long moved on, letting go of the bitterness allowed her to focus more on her future with Divine. Frank, on the other hand, remained stuck in regret, unable to move past his mistakes. But Judith had found the freedom to live her life without looking back. Favor, no longer fixated on Frank or comparing herself to Judith, began her own journey of self-discovery. She enrolled in courses to improve her skills and started focusing on building her own career. Slowly, Favor learned the value of independence and self-respect. She realized that she didn't need Frank's validation to feel worthy, and her personal growth was just beginning. Judith and Divine continued to strengthen their bond, both in business and in life. Their partnership flourished as they worked side by side to expand their cafe empire. Judith found joy in balancing her personal life and professional success. With Divine's unwavering support, she felt unstoppable. Together, they created something beautiful, a family and a thriving business. As Judith's business grew, so did the challenges. A new competitor entered the market, and Judith had to adapt to keep her brand ahead. Despite the pressure, she remained calm and focused, using her experience and creativity to overcome the obstacle. With Divine by her side, they worked together to ensure their brand's continued success, proving that their teamwork was the foundation of everything. Frank visited Judith one final time, realizing that he had truly lost her. He apologized once more, but this time, it was not for forgiveness but for closure. Judith listened without bitterness, but she made it clear that her life with Divine was everything she had ever wanted. Frank walked away, knowing that he had no place in her future. Judith's family, who had once been skeptical of her relationship with Divine, finally saw the strength of their bond. They came together to celebrate Judith's accomplishments, proud of everything she had built. Judith felt a deep sense of gratitude for her family's support and love. The celebration wasn't just for her success, but for the life she had created with Divine. Judith and Divine decided to expand their empire further, joining forces with other successful entrepreneurs. They built strategic partnerships that allowed their Café franchise to reach new heights. With their combined vision and ambition, they were able to create a brand that was admired and respected. Judith's influence in the business world grew, and she became a role model for aspiring entrepreneurs. As Judith looked at her flourishing business and happy family, she began to dream bigger. She wanted to use her success to give back to her community. Judith started philanthropic projects, helping others achieve their dreams and supporting causes close to her heart. With Divine's encouragement, she realized that her true success wasn't just about money, but about the positive impact she could have on the world. Judith's legacy was built on love, resilience, and hard work. She had transformed her life from heartbreak and betrayal to triumph and fulfillment. Her love for Divine and her family was the driving force behind her success. Judith knew that her journey wasn't just about building a business but about creating a legacy that would inspire future generations. As Judith and Divine stood together, watching their children play in their beautiful home, they reflected on how far they had come. From the pain of the past to the joy of the present, they had built a life filled with love, success, and purpose. Judith had no regrets. She had embraced her past, learned from it, and created a future she could be proud of. With Divine by her side, she knew her journey was just beginning. That's the end of the story. What did you learn about the story? Please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.